Hey, what's up, folks? In this video, I'm going to talk about something I don't usually talk about, but it still has to do with level two, and it is manipulation in small caps. So, small caps, I'd say, are probably every single stock in the small cap land is probably manipulated a little bit, but there are some that are more blatantly manipulated. And when you understand what the manipulators are trying to do, you can understand how to trade the stock. And actually, I think you have a ton of edge once you understand that the stock is being manipulated and how they're manipulating it. So that's what I'm going to run through in this video. I'm going to start off with some level two examples because there's two ways that you can see or tell that a stock is being manipulated. I'd say the first one is going to be level two. You're going to see blatant, clear manipulation on level two. I'll give you three examples of that. And then secondly, and it probably even more important than the level two, I guess, would be the chart patterns. They're going to set levels, they're going to set traps, they're going to wick you out of positions, and they're just going to take liquidity while they execute their move, whatever that might be, up or down. So let's start with the level two examples here. I'm going to have you watch the tape. This is the tape over here, the time and sales, but mainly the level two. So watch the bids and the asks. You're going to see a massive buyer come in, and what's going to happen is this is going to flush down, and I think a lot of people are going to think, this is the top. So let me just play the clip and you'll see what I'm talking about. So keep your eyes over here on the time and sale, or on the price ladder. So we get a nasty flush, and then look at that. Buyer comes in at 310 and wicks this thing right back up. Basically just saves it. Like, no, we're not done yet. They've got more in the tank. They want to take this thing higher. So instantly I'm going to buy their 1,000 shares and then ride this thing back up through the highs. But that is them. That's the manipulators saving this stock. They don't want this thing to go lower. So that's, I'm not playing a manipulation. I don't have any manipulation strategy yet. I'm just in the back of my mind thinking, that was pretty strange. Someone just blatantly saved that stock. There might be some manipulation going on. All right, so that was the first example. Okay, before we take a look at this level two example, you can see what they did. The last example was right here. It was this wick, right? So they came up, made a high a day, and then flushed right back down after they saved it. So they got everybody thinking, oh, we're going long. Someone's saving it, comes right back down. Then they come right to high a day. They don't take out high a day though, because they don't want to stop out the short sellers just yet. They want to get more short sellers interested in this as they create this massive failure. And then what do? Take out the lows here and then bring it right back up, ramp up to the highs. And then you're going to see them create another artificial high here. So what do? They don't take out the high a day. And you're going to see a large seller. So again, watch the time and sales over here. And I think I'm going to actually try to buy this dip. And then they bring in 800 on the ask at 370. So clearly manipulating a top. And there we go. So the top is in. Now let's fast forward again. So as they created that high, they broke the lows, they're bringing it down. And in this case, we're going to see something that's not as blatant, but it's still a level two pattern that I talk about, a hidden seller. So you can see we're trying to buy at 340. There's green on the tape at 340, but we can't go through. So that's a hidden seller at 340. So I'm going to short it there. Or short 500 shares, and we're just going to wait to see if we retest 340 or what, because we're already kind of extended to the downside. This isn't a great place to be short. I think you've probably got profit potential down to maybe 320 or so, give or take. It doesn't seem like a great place to be short. So I take it off and I wait and see, and look, again, there's hidden selling at 340. So I'm going to get short again. Okay. They're holding at 340. They're holding. And so I think I might even add to my short as we break this large seller down, or large buyer at 335. Nope, we're holding again at 340. So I'm okay. Now I add to my short, and then I'm going to cover some here at 330. And now watch what happens. So we had that hidden seller at 340. Everybody's thinking, this is a short. We're failing from the highs, and watch what happens here. Okay, there it is. Look at that. So again, they did the same thing. This is the third time we've seen it. They put a huge order in on the bid all the way up at 350. They eat up all this liquidity. Of course, I'm short 500 shares, so I've got to sell now, or I've got to buy back my shares. So they just manipulated the bottom. So now they've created a wick, a bottoming wick. And now this is where, obviously there's been level two manipulation. We've seen that. Now we're going to jump over to the chart patterns and see how we can trade off of the chart patterns. All right, so here's the chart. Here is the wick that they just put in, that low. And right now, again, there's no like specific chart pattern that I can play off of for manipulation. So I'm just going to wait and see what they do. It looks like they put in a wick up at 358. So I'm thinking, okay, when they come back to 358, maybe what they're going to try to do is set some traps. You know, they're not going to just take this thing right through high and day just yet. I mean, we've done nothing but go up, 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 up. So they're going to have to set some more traps. They're not going to take this thing through high a day. If they set traps, what are some levels they'll do so at? Well, we've touched 375 a few times. We've touched this 358, and we've got 360 right behind it. So I'm thinking 358, 360, they might try to set a trap there. And when I say set a trap, they're just going to make it go to that level and come right back off. So they're just going to set wicks there, so that those are levels that's, you know, if you're shorting this thing, you're going to risk off of those levels, and then they'll take it back through those levels. They'll do the same thing to the downside. So let's take a look. We're going to keep going here. Did they set a trap? They did. So they set a trap to the downside now. You can see that. So 328 was the low of this candle. 328 was the low of this candle. So now in the back of your mind, you have to be saying, okay, which way are they going to liquidate first? Are they going to go liquidate the highs or the lows? And honestly, they'll probably do both. But what you can do is just trade the breakouts, because they're going to be fake breakouts. At least this early in the process, they're going to all be fake breakouts. So you can just flip to the opposite side of whatever they decide to do first. So let's see. They come up. Okay, so they break through 358. I honestly thought they were going to, you know, put in something lower here, but they went right through it. But then look at that. It comes right back down. And I believe I shorted that one. And now we've got to imagine, okay, now they've set something to the highs. Maybe they go set another trap at the highs. Again, they're still not going to go through these highs up here. It's still too early in the process, but they might come down and liquidate the lower part. So let's see what they do. Okay, there we go. So they liquidated the lower part. And again, look at that wick. Beautiful wick. If you bought that, that's easy 10 cents a share. And now they're coming back down, and they're stopping out all the dip buyers. And here, I think I put out a tweet, and if you're not following me on Twitter, @DipTraders, go follow me, and I'll tweet this kind of stuff intraday. But in this case, you know, now that they've liquidated these lows, there is no liquidity for them to gain by continuously selling the stock, right? There's no more natural sellers. So what they have to do is create natural sellers by taking this higher, getting people interested, buying the stock again, and then wicking them out and letting them sell their shares to who? The manipulators. So as the manipulators walk the stock down here, what are they doing? They're buying your shares. They're buying them up, they're taking it to the next level, and then they're selling their shares as all the shorts get stopped out. So it's just stopping out the shorts and the longs over and over and over again. So right here, I think is where I tweeted, you know, there's no more liquidity to the downside. It's all on the upside. So what are they going to do? They're going to go stop out the shorts. They created this level of 350. It's not a great level, but still lots of wicks right above 350. So what are they going to do? Probably go liquidate that. So let's fast forward here, and boom, they go grab that liquidity. And at this point, I wasn't sure what they were going to do. They've come up to the 360, 359 level. This wick might be at 359 too. Yeah, it is. It's not at 358. 359. Okay, so they've created the 359 level. I don't know what they do. There's still not very much liquidity at the downside. So I don't know what they do here, honestly. And I just kind of waited. Okay, so they took out the liquidity that rested at the highs there. Do they take it right back down? Oh, okay. Now let's zoom out here so we can see what's going on. Okay, so they've set a trap at 376, 375, so right around the highs. And again, you wouldn't expect them to go right through the highs. They're going to set a trap up here, and then they're going to bring it back down because they want to get all these buyers, these people that are interested in going and buying for the high day breakout, right? But they're not going to take it there. They're just going to sell. That gives them the liquidity to sell a bunch, and now they're going to bring it back to the lows. Okay, so they bring it back down to the lows. Do they liquidate that low before they bring it higher? It doesn't look like they do. Okay, they go back to 375. They take it right back down. They're not making it easy for these buyers. And now they take it through the highs. And now here's where the traps really, honestly, I didn't think that they were going to take it through the highs again. I didn't, it had already been up so much. I think it was already up over 100%. I was actually a little surprised here. And now they really start setting some traps. I didn't record this portion of the trading session, but what you'll notice on the chart is that the $4 level held up very well. So anytime they were selling below $4, they would let it go for a second and they would rebid at $4. They would eat up all the liquidity and they'd put a bid at $4. And we saw this over and over and over again. And so anytime it dipped below 4, you'll see that it got bid up really, really quick. In this case here, we had some traps set at 415, and then I think they set some at 412 as well. So this was an obvious level that they were going to liquidate before going lower. And then did they set traps to the downside? Not really, but they did keep liquidating these lows. So they let it go lower and then lower. And yeah, so they're just taking, and anybody who is, buying the dips and using these levels as the stops, they're going 1 cent below, taking your liquidity and riding it back up. And then here we go. It liquidates that level, but again, doesn't make a new high, sets a new high at 412 or 420. And then here is where it breaks out. And I actually managed to catch this. I think I was in at 415, out at 444. I got a crazy good fill on market orders too. And then brings it right back down. So it's clearing both sides of the range. And for most people, you'd expect this to be the top. I mean, after some action like this, I mean, who's buying this stock? Are you kidding me? After a move like that, you got to be scared shitless. So not many buyers. So they just let the natural selling occur. They walk it down. And at this point, I wasn't sure where the bottom was going to be, but I figured it was not going to be a straight down event. Usually when you get action like this, it's just go sideways, drop again, go sideways, drop again. There's no real bounces. But on this one, I said, you know what? The manipulators, there's enough liquidity still in this thing where they might walk it down, but they're gonna walk it back up at some point. And I don't know where that walk back up will go to, but they're gonna do it. They're definitely gonna do it. So we'll take a look at a few things here. One, as they come down here, they don't take out the lows. So I'm thinking, okay, they're probably gonna go take out these lows at some point. They do, and they walk it right back up. At this point, I wasn't sure if this was gonna be the low or not. It turns out it wasn't, and they set a trap again at 388. So if you're short, you're probably risking against 388, especially as it comes and breaks down below these lows. So remember 388, that's definitely going to be a spot. I'm going to clean up the chart here. We'll get rid of these lines. Okay, and now this line right here is VWAP. So a big one for retail traders, huge level for retail traders. Everybody knows retail traders love to buy a VWAP. And what do we have here? We've got buyers at 348, right below the psych level of 350. And so I said, I am going to get long on the break of 350 because, again, I think they're going to want to go back and liquidate this 388. So I think on the break here, this is where they're going to trap all the retail buyers that have bought in this consolidation. They're going to sell. They're going to take their liquidity and bring it right back up. See what happens. So they do just that. They break below. And not only do they just break below the level, but they also break it below VWAP. So anybody who had the stop against VWAP, they're out of the trade now too. And now they can safely walk it back up. And so they do that. Do they take the liquidity here? I think they do. Probably by a cent, right? Yep, by 1 cent. They come back down. And then this is the crazy part. This is what I did not expect, but they really walked it up into the close. So if anybody was, had their cent like their stop just a little bit higher than 388, 388, which was this level over here, maybe they didn't get taken out here, but they definitely got taken out here. The other thing to note on this particular stock is it was easy to borrow. And what that means is people like me who don't usually short things can short this stock. And what ends up happening is you have a lot of newbie shorts, people who aren't used to shorting, usually risking the obvious levels, risking the high day, risking these levels. So it actually makes it, this is why these moves, I think, were so pronounced on this particular stock. And so, yeah, we got this crazy movement at the end of the day, and I'll just zoom out. You can see what happened. This thing just absolutely went nuts. Ended up at $8 after hours. And it's Saturday right now, so I don't even know what it's going to do on Monday. It'll be very interesting. But I thought that this was such a perfect example of manipulation. And I track all these examples in my Discord. I've got a bunch of historical charts. Manipulation is one of them. And I just list all these things as I see them. And so as I'm seeing this manipulation take place intraday, I can go through the Discord. I can see if there are any historical charts that kind of match the manipulation patterns that they're using today. But again, most of the time, if it's heavy manipulation like we saw in this stock, it's going to be the same thing over and over. Just create levels, break them, take the liquidity from both sides over and over and over again. That's all they're trying to do. If you want access to the historical charts and all that other stuff, I do have a subscription on the website, diptraders.net. You get access to the scanner, you get access to custom Discord scans, as well as those historical charts as well. And if you're still with me right now, I appreciate you guys watching the whole video. I know this is pretty long-winded, but hopefully this was helpful. And hopefully next time you see this, it'll be a little bit more obvious what they're trying to do. So good luck out there, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you in the next video.